And it's time for us to talk about nutrition this morning. And today on the nutrition segment, we're going to be talking about proper handling of baby milk. It's a very important conversation for us to have. And just to remind you that this segment is sponsored by Lily Rice. Lily Rice, tasty food, happy family. Of course, Akosua Kunedu Yadom is a state-registered nutritionist who helps us every day on the nutrition segment to understand better, you know, the daily functionings of nutrition in our lives, how it is. Today we're going to be looking at babies and how to handle their milk properly. Akosua, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm awesome.
Fantastic.
Yourself?
I'm good, thank you.
Yeah.
So let's dive right into it because there's a lot to talk about. Baby milk, proper handling. What do we need to know? What do we need to understand? Why is it even an important thing? I mean, of course, babies are smaller, they are sensitive, you know, they're very delicate and all that. But what do we need to know?
Okay, so to start off, I'll say that baby milk can be breast milk, it can be formula.
Okay.
So it has to do with everything the child would need, especially if it's exclusive, the first 6 months of life.
Okay.
So as a nutritionist, I will always preach exclusive breastfeeding. That is if the mother or the family...
For at least 6 months?
Yes, for 6 months.
Okay.
And then continue breastfeeding until your child is 2 years. It's a problem, but it's my duty to preach that to you because a lot of mothers, after 1 year, after 18 months, would want their breast to be free. And some fathers are also always putting pressure on their wives to make sure that they cut breastfeeding. But dear daddies, it has to be done for the first 2 years of life. So it could be formula, it could be breast milk, but as a nutritionist, let me go with the breast milk first. So we have examples of expressed milk here. And so I would let this go for, let's say this is the formula. Ideally, formula should be prepared and ready to, and it should be ready to use. But let's use this for the human milk or breast milk. So I want this to pass for colostrum. And now colostrum is the first milk that comes after a woman delivers. So for some women, it could be 3 days. It could be a week. For some women, 2 weeks. So because I don't know, even though I have the knowledge in it, I have no idea how long my colostrum will last. It is very important that you ask for your baby 30 minutes after delivery, if it's SVD or spontaneous vaginal delivery. If you delivered through your vagina, you need to make sure you ask for your child 30 minutes after it. If it was as cesarean section or CS, 1 hour, or when you are able to move your limbs, you should request that your child be given to you, because 72 hours after delivery, if breastfeeding doesn't happen, we need to come in with something you may not want. And though I am preaching breast milk or breastfeeding, there are some babies who, due to no fault of theirs, I had a mother deliver 3 months, she was just bedridden. Obviously, this child will need to fall on formula. And then we have 1% of all women, just as we have women who can't deliver, we have women who will never be able to breastfeed.
Wow.
So they also would need to be helped as far as alternative formula or whatever alternative feed is concerned, because for the first 6 months it is very crucial. But to start off with, I will talk about the benefits. There are a lot of benefits, but we'll zoom in as the conversation progresses. Now, let's say this is my expressed milk. Now, this is 180 ml. There is still ice in there. That's why it's a bit far. This is how expressed milk should be handled. Now, you can see that there is ice in there. So you express, and based on the bag I have, you need to express up to the 180 mils. And then you store at the deep freezer. Now, depending on how long you want to keep your milk, if it's warm, a warm room, room temperature, a warm room, expressed breast milk can sit there for 4 hours. If it is a cold room, like this room, this studio is very cold, you can let it sit for 6 hours to even 8 hours. So if it's a warm room, 4 hours after expression. And then if it's a cold room, 6 hours or maximum 8 hours. If you want it to go a day or two, it needs to be at the fridge or the refrigerator, and it should be strong. If you want it to go for 2 days, 3 days. So if your fridge is not too strong, don't go beyond 2 days or even a day.
So it's all about the temperature.
It's about the temperature and making sure that it stays as wholesome as it can be, because when milk goes sour or spoiled and you feed a baby with it, you are heading for infections, you are heading for a lot of troubles. Once diarrhea sets in for a little child, you can't kill your child. So you make sure it is done properly. Now, if it is going for days into a week, it should be at the freezer.
Okay.
And if it's going weeks into up to 6 months, deep freezer.
Okay.
Elsewhere it's done for a year, but Ghana, our power issues won't permit us. So for us to be on the safer side, because yesterday my lights went off. Yes. So if I had expressed breast milk there, it could be tempered.
Wow. I had no idea you could keep it for that long.
You can keep it in Ghana. We do 6 months, but elsewhere in Europe they do a year.
Because of dependable power.
Because there is power always at their disposal. So now, even with that, you need to create a compartment in your fridge to make sure, in your deep freezer. So within the deep freezer, there is this compartment that easily freezes. So you put something there, the next 1, 2, 3, 5 minutes, it's already frozen. That is where you keep it, and then you keep it in a clean bowl. So you can express like this as many as you have. There are mothers who can express 120 bags.
Wow.
Yes, so I tell mothers that once colostrum clears, you start expressing. And once colostrum clears, you start doing what we call top-up feeds. You can get cups like this, or you can get something like that. Top-up feeds, you don't do with feeding bottles. And we'll go to reasons why you don't have to use feeding bottles. So this is my top-up feed. I can squeeze it like this, feed the baby through here. They lap on it like the way animals lap on water. That is how it's supposed to be. And then afterwards, you bathe the baby. Now, mothers who would have to go back to work, they struggle when their 3 months maternal leave is over. Now, they are now asking you, someone asked me on the platform that, okay, I have to go back to the office. Okay, I love this segment today because it's for me. But how do I handle it? You need to do top-ups as soon as you start breastfeeding. So after allowing the baby to breastfeed from the breast, you express into a clean container like this one. You see, it's manageable. Or normally when you buy syrups, they are on it. It's something that you can easily squeeze. So you make sure you express into this. If it's this with a spoon, so we preach cup and spoon, and we'll go into reasons why cup and spoon, and then you feed baby like this. Baby laps onto it like the way animals will lap on, will do with water. That's how it's supposed to be. By the time you are 3 months into breastfeeding, your child already knows what it means to feed from the cup and the spoon. And so it's not a problem. But if you start off with feeding bottles and other things, it's the reason why babies are becoming very big now, and increasing the feed of your child will obviously open the child's stomach up. And then childhood obesity can set in. And now something that is really popping up with these kids with childhood obesity is asthma. Because you increase your child's risk of asthma if the child is really obese. So it's not a thing about luxury anymore. I tell parents, if your baby is big, it's not luxurious anymore. It comes with a lot of health issues. So we need to make sure we do it right. Now, let's say I want to feed my child with expressed milk. You open your zip like this. Always make sure it's in the fridge. You don't thaw milk at, you don't bring it from the deep freezer into the kitchen. You keep it at the fridge, so that it can thaw. This is what has happened. It has thawed, though you have some ice left in there. Now, I pour exactly how much the child can feed. So this is 180. I don't have to put everything into hot water. So this is my basin. I have my hot water here. You pour your hot water into it. And then, so you can set up like this before you leave for the office. So that whoever is taking care of your child will know that this is strictly for the child. I tell mothers to do it that way to reduce infections, because the person you are leaving your child with might not understand cleaning, sterilization, and how to really handle some of these things. And if milk, you don't handle it well, infection can set in. So I pour exactly the amount I will need, because feeding your child, you can tell that if I feed my child 20 ml, 30 ml, 60 ml, this child can finish. So
let's pour some.
So there are babies who can, so help me out, there are babies who can finish this at even a feed. And once it's natural, nobody will fault you for doing that. So let's say I have a baby, because I'm a nutritionist, my baby really eats and enjoy breast milk.
And then we sit it in the warm water.
So you let it sit. I'm health conscious with milk.
Okay.
Let it sit in the water.
Nice.
So that it becomes warm. Now you feel it on your skin. If it's hot on your skin,
then
you are going to hurt the child. So you allow it to sit like this for a while, and then with time, you can feel it. You can just, with your baby's spoon, just fetch and then feel it on your skin to see if it's okay. If you are a pro like myself, someone asked, how many children do you have? I said, I have 1,000 kids because I attend to them. You can use this small cups and then just pour it a bit by bit into it and then feed the baby. Now, afterwards, you burp the baby. You can put baby here. The pros can put baby in their palm.
On your lap?
Yes, and just burp them. Now, it's to help in 3 years. So that if you should put the child down, this child, if she should belch, wouldn't bring the food out. Because that normally leads to choking, especially if you put baby on the back. So I tell mothers, after breastfeeding, you burp the baby, put baby down, head tilted to the left or to the right, so that if baby should belch, it can just pass here if baby is on the right side, onto the cot sheet. Sometimes you don't even see. But we've had episodes where even in my face like this at the hospital, it happened to a child. But this child was lucky. I was there. The pediatrician was there. Everybody was there to help. But imagine if your wife entered the washroom and this happened to your child.
Well, thankfully, I know how to burp babies. I did it myself.
So we are fortunate to have some fathers, and I'm always happy when fathers come for CWC or weighing with their wives, or they come into the labor room with their wives. Yes, you should do it. Husband material. It's not always about the wife material. Husband material. You should also make sure you know all these
On
things.
that note, we're going to go for a short break. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. All right, welcome back. Now, we've been talking about breast milk and milk in general for babies and the importance of properly handling them. And of course, I was just showing off earlier to Akosia that I handled it myself with my daughter. But Akosia, I want us to talk about the preference. What should we go for? Breast milk versus formula? Now, I know you say that, look, the first few days, colostrum comes out, and so therefore that's critical for the babies and the immune system and all of that. We know that. But by and large, across board, can we not just start formula right from the get-go?
Now, there is a huge difference. So comparing formula to human milk or breast milk. Now, it has antibodies.
Okay.
It has antiviruses, it has hormones, and then it has hormones. I am even interested in the HGH hormone that is responsible for growth. So you realize that a lot of the formula-fed babies, if you should find your child being stunted, now you can clearly know that that is also contributing to that, because the formula you are giving to your child doesn't have the growth hormones in there. Now we have anti-allergies. There are lots of babies with allergies, and even when you come to me, sometimes I ask, okay, have you tested for GCSPD? Have you tested for ABC? Because if your child has GCSPD, obviously, no matter how healthy a milk may be, depending on what is sitting in there, I may not recommend it for your child. And then we have growth factors, we have enzymes, minerals, vitamins, fats, DHA, we have ARA, carbohydrates, protein, and water, most importantly. But when you pick formula, formula has minerals, vitamins, fats and oil, DHA, carbohydrate, protein, water. Formula has like 40 to 50% of what breast milk has. So breast milk is 100%.
It's far more powerful.
It's powerful. It's the most powerful thing every parent, let me say, I won't say mother, because the father can also do the feeding. So it's the most powerful thing every parent, every mother, every father can do for their child.
I think that, very obviously, I don't know if we have the graphic available, but very obviously you can see that antibodies hormones,
Absent.
antiviruses,
Absent.
anti-allergies, antiparasitics, and growth hormone plus enzymes are all not found in formula.
Enzymes are powerful as a biochemistry person. You know, we need sometimes enzymes to catalyze on the foods we eat for proper absorption and other things to happen. So you have children at a very early age, bloating is happening. They are gassing more than even their parents will gas. It means that it has everything to do with something not going the way it has to be.
Yeah.
Like I said, if you have a child and the mother is bedridden, obviously we need to fall on that. But always know that you gave birth to a human being, so you should look for human milk first.
Okay. Fantastic. All right, so let's talk about formula preparation, because there are those people who can't give breast milk.
Yes.
Okay, and then of course at a certain point in your breastfeeding cycle too, you want to start introducing formula as well. So let's talk.
So formula is not bad. At 6 months after exclusive, that is what I'm supposed to preach to you. You need to come in when it comes to the feeding of a baby. But for me, if you can even add breast milk to the porridges or whatever you are feeding your baby, it's even excellent.
Okay.
Because sometimes there are some babies, because they are used to breast milk, they want to have a feel of the breast milk in everything they are eating. And so if you're a mother struggling with even feeding your child for that transition as far as 6 months, where you need to step in with complementary feeding is concerned, with those who come complaining, I tell them add a bit of the breast milk to it, because it's something they know, so it's easier. Now, this is a 15 ml measure for liquid. You can do 2. So for a scoop of formula, you add 30 ml of water to it. So for a scoop, every scoop, there is this spoon that comes with the formula. For the scoop, you do 30 ml, equivalent to 2 of this, of water to prepare it. Make sure it's prepared the same way we warm this. If it's hot, too hot, you hurt your child. That is how it's supposed to be. But you also know the capacity of your child. If your child can finish 80 ml, 90 ml, then it means 3 scoops to 90 ml of water. That's how it should be prepared when it comes to formula. Okay.
Now, you mentioned earlier on that feeding bottles were not such a great idea. I would want to argue with you right away, because that's what I used for 9 months. You know, whilst I was assisting my wife in feeding our
Deputy
child.
mommy.
You know, so why? What's the reason for that?
Okay, so we preach against feeding bottles, not for the entire growth of a child, but for it has to be stopped. Or you don't introduce it early, let me put it that way. Now, there is something we call nipple confusion. You see, the teat is designed in a way to mimic the nipple of the woman. So, if I am a child and you give me this nice studio with AC I will obviously opt for this than going to sit at Abraka Market and sweat. Because there is sunlight. I see what you mean. So there is this comfort that comes with bottles. And so once the child is confused, at that age, they don't know the difference between the nipple and the teat. And so when you have a little child, if I give my breast to the child will suckle. If every woman gives their breast to the child will suckle. But at a point, if this child doesn't smell the mother, if this child doesn't have a hold of the mother's nipple, they won't suckle the breast. So until the child is grown to that point, normally after 1 or after their teeth are developed or they are out, now they are masters of their mother's nipples and feeding bottles, or the teeth of the feeding bottle. So it's the reason. So when mothers normally start work after 3 months, their milk supply is cut. Because the more a child suckles your breast, the more you make a lot of milk. The more there is that stimulation, the more information is sent to prolactin or the brain to make sure there is constant production of breast milk. So nipple confusion, we don't want the child to be confused. 2, it affects the production and the volume. And then the 3, for infections. Now, you meet even health professionals who don't even know what washing, cleaning, and proper sterilization is. So if you're a mother or a father,
very interesting though,
and
You should
Because-
think about your baby. I mean,
I'm thinking about everybody. When I sit down and they come and they go like, I gave my child this, they didn't eat. I was like, me too, I didn't like omutu, so it's normal. Because you don't expect everybody to be like me. There are funny things people will tell you. People are learned. You meet lawyers, and the things they are telling you, they are funny. But this is my work, so I will always let you know why it has to be done. Okay. So whoever you are leaving your child with can also have everything to do with the feeding of your child. So we preach cup and spoon. I can easily open this thing and clean it.
Yeah.
As compared to the teeth, some of the teeth you can't even turn them.
Yeah.
So you wash a baby's feeding bottle 3 times and you smell it and you still
sediments and all
see
that.
sediments, and then it's smelling in a funny way. It can tamper with the quality of your baby's breast milk.
Okay, because there's so much for us to talk about.
It's a whole lot.
Yes. So how do people find you?
Okay, so on Instagram at the Nutritionist Akosia, there are more. I'll try to post them on Instagram at the Nutritionist Akosia.